Well, last month we spent a lot of time decluttering and talking about some of our best tips and tactics so that you could work through the stuff in your house really quickly. But this month I wanted to go back to some of the core concepts of why minimalism just makes sense and reinforce some of these ideas, because I think anytime we start to feel stuck in our decluttering efforts or like we're losing motivation, it can help to go back to some of these core ideas. And it's always fun to hear from you what kind of clicks. I hear often that this idea of living in a vacation home really motivates many of you, that the idea of inventory and that every single thing in our house is something we have to manage just makes sense. But more recently, I've also been asked to revisit this idea of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how sometimes we get stuck in those base levels and it keeps us from achieving our goals, from being happy and feeling fulfilled. I mean, that's a lot at stake, right? So today, let's revisit this idea of Maslow's hierarchy and how we can use it as motivation to declutter our homes. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom. We love sharing about family minimalism and how you can declutter your house quickly. And so I love sharing both the practical side of decluttering tips and tactics and how to just get the stuff out of your house quickly. But I think it's good to revisit the why and why does minimalism work? Why does it make sense? And so that's what we're doing this month. Last week I talked about this idea of inventory, and today I want to revisit Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I have a friend and she just emailed and she said, you know, when I was in nursing school, they taught us about the hierarchy of needs, but she said, I'd never heard it applied to simplifying our house. And she said that idea that we can get stuck in the bottom layers really made sense to her and really stuck out to her. So let's talk about this idea a little bit more today. So Maslow was a psychologist not that long ago, mid-1900s, and his whole goal was to find the meaning of life. He wanted to know, why are we here? What's the point? And what is it that we're searching for or trying to achieve in this lifetime? And so this was the whole basis of his research and where he came up with his hierarchy of needs or pyramid of needs. He determined that there was 5 things that human beings needed to experience self-fulfillment. In his words, that we could live up to our full potential. And so the very first layer of the pyramid is our physiological needs. Food, shelter, water, clothing, warmth. So the basic needs that we require as human beings. And then the next level up is our safety needs, or our need for security, to know that we're safe. But then from there, we move up to feelings of belonging and love. We need other people. We need to be noticed. We need to have relationships. We need to feel loved. I mean, this is the third tier on the pyramid. And I know many of us, I mean, we feel lonely. We feel unnoticed. We feel unloved. This is level 3 in the pyramid. You are not wrong to feel this way, right? This is a need of ours as human beings, and it's a very important need. And then from there, we move up to esteem and respect. Not only do we want to be seen, noticed, and feel loved, we would also like to feel that our ideas matter and that people respect us because of them. And then the last is self-actualization. And this is the ultimate becoming everything we were created to be. And so the base 2 levels are considered our basic needs. They're physical needs that we require as humans. And then the upper 3 are psychological or spiritual needs. And so they're both important, and that's why he put it in a pyramid, because we need these base needs met in order to move up to achieve the other levels. And again, this idea that in order to achieve happiness and self-fulfillment, we have to be moving up through the pyramid. We can't camp out in any one layer. We need to be well-rounded. We need to experience all of these layers, in his opinion. But we need all of this. We need the full package to experience happiness and self-fulfillment in our lives. And so that sounds great, right? It makes sense. But the problem is, when we look around us, I mean, especially if we look at the statistics of Americans, I mean, by and large, we're not happy, right? Depression rates are up, anxiety rates are up. Even outside of what's been going on this last years, happiness levels are actually declining and we're not happy. So what is going on here, right? And so that's where I proposed that it kind of feels like we're getting stuck in these bottom 2 levels. We are continually being marketed to buy and acquire things that support these base needs. Nicer and newer clothing, newer cars, fancier houses. But the problem with that is that once these base needs are met, once we have a house and a car and clothing, once we have warmth and food, we don't achieve happiness by improving upon these. We don't actually experience happiness by getting a nicer house or nicer clothes or even more food. Once we have enough to eat, we have enough to eat. We don't need more and more and more of it. But when we look around, the messages that we're getting every single day is, no, you need more clothes, you need nicer clothes, you need cooler clothes, you need clothes that are slimming, and that will make you feel better, which will make you happier, right? And so that's where I propose that we get bogged down in these first two levels of our very basic needs, and we get caught taking care of this inventory and this stuff we've acquired, and it keeps us from moving up the pyramid to what's actually going to make us happy. This is where my case for minimalism comes in, because what I've found is that as we have decreased our inventory, as we have gotten rid of all of the excess stuff, I feel like that has freed us up to be able to move up the pyramid. And so then how I like to look at this is this becomes a filter that we can use when we're decluttering our stuff. So as we hold something up and say, should I get rid of this? Do I use it? Do I not use it? We can actually say, okay, is it an essential item to meet my basic needs? Or is it helping me to be able to move up to achieve my goals for my life? We hold something up and we're like, well, okay, I'm holding up a black shirt, and do I really need another black shirt? I have 4 other black shirts. This could probably go in the category that it's bogging me down, it's creating excess inventory that I have to manage. And so no, it's probably actually not helping me to move up. On the other hand, maybe I have some books that I've been reading that are helping me to grow in my own self-awareness, that are helping me to have more confidence or to be more organized with my time, or to develop new habits. Well, those books now, those could be helping us achieve happiness and to be moving up the pyramid. It causes us to look at things a little bit differently when we're putting it through this lens or this filter. And what's been kind of cool even in our own life is I've noticed, so we've talked a little bit about our foster care journey and that we're in the process of getting licensed for foster care. I know there's been some requests for an update for the process. Nothing has changed. So we're kind of in the last phase of being approved, and we're just sitting there, and so that's where we're at. But here's what's so interesting to me. I've always had a heart for foster care. I have no idea why, but it's just always been something that has been something I knew I wanted to do sometime. And there were many times where that idea it seemed very scary and daunting, and so it was very easy to be like, okay, yes, I do hope someday we can do this, but like now is not the time. As we decrease the inventory, I felt like my ability and my capacity to entertain these ideas, like bringing kids into our home that may not sleep through the night again, that may have special needs and extra needs and require extra attention and energy. Now that seems very possible. It feels like, yeah, we could totally do that. Where in the past, when I was overwhelmed by all of the stuff in our house and, you know, maintaining all that and just feeling like our house was kind of chaotic, it still felt like something I wanted to do, but it felt like it would be a huge sacrifice, that it would be very costly and it would be very stressful. But now over here with things more simplified, it feels like, yes, is it still gonna be a ton of work and stressful and all of that? Absolutely. But I feel like I have more capacity to take that on and to handle that now, because I have my base needs met. They're met, but they're not met excessively, and I have no extra in those categories to maintain or take care of. And so it's been kind of fun just to experience that in our own life, that I feel like often we know there's more that we want to be doing. We know there's people we'd like to be helping or new skills we'd like to be learning so that we could help others, but yet it just doesn't always feel like we have the capacity or the ability or the time right now to do it. So it has been fun to see that as we decrease the inventory, I feel like I have increased capacity to really keep working my way on up the pyramid, right? Because I think most of us know that that really is where we're gonna find true happiness and fulfillment in our life. It's finding these relationships where we feel loved, having ideas that we can contribute, where we feel respected, and being able to help others too. So that's my hope for you too. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you do so, because we really do like to make decluttering practical, minimalism practical. I know that word sometimes just turns people off, like minimalism. It sounds very extreme and kind of weird sometimes, but it really has been life-changing to us. And so we love to help you, support you in that as well, help you get your house decluttered and simplified so that you can move up the pyramid and experience these benefits as well. So if you haven't done so, I hope you subscribed. A thumbs up is the best compliment that you can give us, and I will definitely look forward to seeing you again soon.